We're going back in time, counting down the top 80 songs from the greatest pop music decade in the history of human civilization, the 1980s. You're listening to the 80 of the 80s podcast with your hosts, DJ CK1 and AK47. So when is Kraftwerk coming up?
Now let's not talk about it yet.
What?
Remember last episode we asked our listeners to send in their favorite video game music songs.
Yeah.
We got like 35 entries or something.
Nice.
So many, we can't fit them all into this show. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the first half of it in this show, and then the next show we're going to do the second half. But the first half is coming up here soon.
What does that have to do with Kraftwerk?
Nothing.
Coming to you live from the hidden cavern located under the secret ninja compound, somewhere on the dark side of the Smoky Mountains. This is Host to Host, the show with two hosts.
Host number one, I'm CK1.
AK47.
Yes. Okay, we're talking about like secret stuff, secret mysterious occurrences, and supernatural phenomena on this show. Well, let's get the secret word out of the way. He's talking about secrets.
Okay.
Push the button.
No, I want to pick it.
Okay, pick it.
I think it should be human.
Human. Oh.
Yeah.
Why would we say... Yes. Why would we say human at a show like this? I don't know.
We're the Human League. We're much cleverer than you.
Come on.
Okay,
We're
I'll be
gonna
nice.
say that too much.
No, it needs to be candy. Do you know why?
Gee, could it be because you just made some candy?
You seem so annoyed, but it's
No, I'm
delicious.
not annoyed. Okay.
I'm practicing my Christmas candy making.
Well, you don't even need to practice. You did it. So.
I mean, I did it. I'm pretty
Yes,
great.
right, so-
Yeah, they kind of look like food. I made Buckeyes. If you guys, they're like peanut butter balls dipped in chocolate. They're really
right,
awesome.
yeah. They're not the poisonous inedible nut from the state of Ohio. Not those kind of Buckeyes.
No.
We're supposed to be talking about like mysterious things, right?
Yes.
From the past,
Okay.
right? So, well, so you can interview me since I'm the expert.
You want me to interview
Yeah,
you?
you're the interviewer host.
I'm a really
interviewing.
sucky interviewer,
Okay.
Yuri.
So,
Can you give me a list of questions and then I'll rock it?
well, I don't have a list of questions.
Okay, what do you want me to ask you about
Okay,
then?
I guess you could just ask me about the great San Francisco hysteria of 1984.
Okay, tell us about it.
The mass San Francisco hysteria of 1984. Okay, so let me just start off with, let's talk politics, right?
Oh no.
Yeah, we're going to talk politics because, as you know, there's a lot of ists and isms thrown around these days. You know, when people are talking and describing different candidates. And so we're talking about ideology, right? Political ideology, you know?
Yeah.
And one certain candidate, he's going to be president here in a few months.
Don't remind me.
Hey, half of our listeners might be happy
You're
about
right.
that.
We need to keep politics out of this.
Right. No, but I'm just trying to tie it in because I think it would be great if somebody could be like have like a kind of a fascist, totalitarian control over the media and make music great again. Wouldn't that be great?
That would be fantastic.
So part of me thinks that, but then the other part of me thinks it's up to us as individuals. In the same way we have the freedom of speech, we should have the freedoms of our ears to listen and put the sound waves into our head that we want to consume.
Okay, I agree with that too.
Right. So I tend to be like more on the liberty side of ideology, but now think of the great San Francisco mass hysteria that occurred on July the 20th, 1984, and I think maybe that was a good thing.
Maybe.
You know what happened?
No, tell me.
Thanks for asking me about it. Okay.
I'm so good at this.
Yes, you are. Right. Okay.
I'm going to eat a Buckeye. You just talk, okay?
Okay, right.
Just jabber, jabber, jabber.
Yeah, all right. And I don't think people want to hear your chewing sound effects.
It's not chewy. It's peanut butter.
Let them know how good it is by all of your do a lot of moaning and nom sound. Right, yeah. Okay,
I haven't even eaten
that's what people want to hear. Okay, well, so
I'll wait.
Back then, you know, all things were electronically possible. There was a great enthusiasm about the capacities of technology and microchips and computers that, you know, you could have a computer make you a cup of coffee. It could control your electric toothbrush. They could do about almost anything. Well, there was an artificial intelligence in the San Francisco Bay Area known as Edgar. And when he became self-aware, he was able to hack into the international power grid and send 40,000 volts of electricity through the telephone line and into him, which he exploded. Now, although he blew up, there was so much energy that was released that he was able to gain control of all the radio stations in the Bay Area. He forced a single multi-frequency transmission that was so powerful that the radio waves were instantly converted into electricity within each audio device in the area. All audio devices in the San Francisco Bay Area were turned up to the maximum volume level. Think about this. If you were in school and you heard the song just kind of spontaneously blaring through the intercom, or if you were doing dancing aerobics, suddenly the jam box started playing this song. Everybody who was driving in a car, their radios turned on and was playing this song. And tugboat operators, you know,
tugboats. Oh, that's such a cute word.
Right? Yeah, it's going through. It came through their CB radios. The song was playing like everywhere.
Bitches love tugboats.
And it started off. There was. It started off like they heard his digital voice, and it said,
"Hello, hello. This is dedicated to the ones I love."
This is dedicated to the ones I love. And then they heard, what better voice than the voice of Phil Oakey?
I only knew you for a while. I never saw your smile.
If you want to have a voice that declares a message of universal love and togetherness and collective harmony, what better voice than Phil Oakey, the singer of
The Human League.
Right, The Human League. He's not doesn't have the greatest voice, but he has a very efficient and clear and concise voice. It's almost like you can't tell if he's talking to you or if he's singing to you, but it's almost like a command. And the music is coming from Giorgio Moroder, who some people say he's from Italy, and some people say he's from Germany.
Maybe he's from Germitaly.
Right, somewhere in between, or he could be from outer space. He has taken this interstellar technology and this universal message of love and peace and togetherness and cohesiveness, combine that with Phil Oakey's voice. This was reported by 3 million people experienced this, right, in the San Francisco Bay Area.
That's a lot of people.
It did, but scientists today can't explain what happened. So all of the sunbathers, the roller skaters, the tugboaters, they're all roused into this mass hysteria, and they all spontaneously dance together. They were unified through the power of the song.
Yeah.
Looking back, I might be in for free will and choose your own music and think, you know, that music shouldn't be enforced upon people. In this case, it was a good thing. You could say collectively, if you believe in the utilitarian philosophy, that there was a greater good was produced through this act. Therefore, it was a positive thing. And I think, you know, the world's full of hate and despair. It was back then, but even now more so. We have all the social unrest. I think we need another Edgar experiment. And Giorgio, with his interstellar mind control technology, the Earth needs a new music crusade. It's the dream that I have. It's an electric dream.
Got it.
And it'll bring us together.
Didn't you see Bill and Ted?
Yes.
I mean, didn't they do that? They took over the whole world.
Yeah, the Wild Stallions. But
Wild Stallions.
wait, yeah, where are they now, though? Didn't they go up into outer space?
They're in the future, man.
I guess they were lost. They're probably like, okay, music is really sucking now, dudes. Because they talk like that because they're from California, you know?
Cool, dude. Dude. Where are we, dude? We're in the middle of a war, dude.
Because that's how all Californians talk.
It's dust in the wind, dude. 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 Dude.
They probably blasted ahead to some time in the future when music doesn't suck so much, so that way the Wild Stallions can dominate the music charts.
Okay, is there going to be a time in the future when the music is not going to suck as much? We can only hope.
According to Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, yes, there will be that day.
Give me a phone booth.
But that explains where they went to. It's because those guys that kind of disappeared back in the early 90s, you know.
We've been to the past. We've been to the future. We've been all around the afterlife.
But since they have a time machine, they have all the time in the world.
The best place to be is here. The best time to be is now. Let's rock!
Would you rather take a DeLorean or a phone booth to time travel?
That's a really good, because the DeLorean has a dual purpose. You can drive and look cool, pick up girls. Well, if you're into that thing, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. But the phone booth, I mean, sometimes it'll like suck you into the ground, or it'll shoot you up into the sky, or.
And plus, you can make a phone call if you need to.
Yeah, yeah.
I gotta go with the DeLorean though.
Yeah, you know, the phone booth where they had to climb on top and fix the wiring with the gum and everything. Yeah, that's a little too risky for me. I don't carry gum.
I mean,
on me
but it's not like the DeLorean was without its issues.
That's true.
I mean,
that's true.
You have to have plutonium.
Yeah. Okay, we're way off topic.
Yeah, well, let's go back to. Well, anyway,
that was quite the rant you did there, by the way. You went on and on and on and on and on.
Was that bad?
No, it's okay. It just was a lot.
Okay, well, okay. Let's just do this then. Okay.
Okay. And somehow Pee Wee Herman needs to be involved.
And in a matter of fact, Pee Wee Herman is kind of indirectly involved in the song.
Tell me.
Okay.
Here we go.
A lot of people think that this is Together in Electric Dreams is a Human League song. Because it does sound, you know, Phil Oakey, synthesizer. There's a guitar solo, but it's almost like the guitar sounds almost like a synthesizer. The backup vocals, they sound like Susan and Joanne from the Human League, but it's actually Joe Esposito who sing You're the Best Around. He sang several Giorgio Moroder songs. Him and then Elizabeth Daly, who performed as Dottie in the great movie Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
There you go.
So, you know, you got Joe Esposito who's like, let's do it, we're going to kick butt everybody. And then you have Dottie who's saying, let's go to the drive-in.
His name, Phil Oakey.
Yes.
It's like nails on a chalkboard to me when I hear it said.
Why?
Because I want to say Oakley. There's an L in there somewhere. There has to be. Oakey, Oakley, come on.
Yeah.
It's torture.
You don't like that? You don't like his hair either.
Yeah, you know, I don't understand the hair. I know it was the 80s and all, and I can respect that.
Late 70s and
whatever.
We're talking about his hairstyle from
where
when
he did
was,
like half of it was short and half of it was long. It's
yeah.
like he got bored and just stopped. Yeah, this will work. No, I don't get it.
He has like a, what's her name? Veronica Lake. Is that the name of that actress?
Maybe.
She had the hair in her face.
What's your preference? Apple, pear, wang?
Oh, listen, I don't know anything about computers.
Miles just bought a computer, and he got more than he bargained for.
You're talking.
You noticed.
This song was for the movie Electric Dreams.
And she's the girl he's falling for.
Oh yeah, the lead character guy was really hot.
I can't play that for her. I want to squeeze you, lick you, pucker up, and kiss you.
He was performed by Lenny somebody.
You make her sound like a lemon.
He played this perfect nerdy guy. He was fantastic.
Perfect. He was the perfect nerdy guy.
Well, I don't know if he was perfect, but he
No, well, I mean, did you like it?
You know, I love me some nerds. But to be honest with you,
when Edgar comes between them,
you know, about 15 minutes into the movie, I really wanted to just fast forward it to the end.
Yeah.
Because it was terrible. But Bud Cort was in it, apparently. He was the voice of the computer.
I want to meet her.
Yeah, Edgar, yeah.
Bud Cort, for you guys who don't know, he played Harold in Harold and Maude. I love me some Bud Cort.
Yeah.
He's kind of a weird guy. I like
underutilized.
And it's funny because when you look at Bud Cort, you would think this guy's going to have the manliest voice you've ever heard, but he kind of talks like this. And you don't expect that. It completely throws me off.
And you like that?
I kind of like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
things start to get electric.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, the movie sucked. Sorry.
It was directed by Peter... Darn it, I'm supposed to know this stuff. Where's my notes? It's directed by Stephen Barron, who was better known for his music videos. He's done some of the best, first half of the 80s, some of the most iconic videos, from Aha's Take on Me, Michael Jackson's Billie Jean.
Oh, wow.
But one of his first videos that he did was The Human League's Don't You Want Me Baby, which they recorded that video on a dark night in a small town. But the way it was edited and put together it had a cinematic look, and so it got people's attention and probably helped propel the song up to #1. It's still like number 25 of the all-time best-selling British singles. Mm-hmm. He loved the movie Flashdance, which Giorgio Moroder did the soundtrack to that. The theme song for Flashdance, What a Feeling, by Irene Carter. So Giorgio gave him some demos, and he gave him a demo with the song together in Electric Dreams, but it had different lyrics though. And Barron said, I like it, but this singer sounds like Neil Diamond. We need someone who's completely different. And so he thought, well, my friend Phil Oakey, his voice is like...
Oakley! I'm sorry, I had you.
Yes,
go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh.
His voice is like the polar opposite of Neil Diamond. So he asked Giorgio to do that. So they called him up, and he agreed. Phil Oakey, sorry.
No, it's okay. That's his name. That's
I'll
his
call
name.
Phil from now on.
No, Phil Oakey. Okay. It's Oakey. Don't worry.
He caught a cab to the studio. On the way to the studio, Phil wrote the lyrics to the song on a cigarette pack. He walks into the studio, and Giorgio's there and said, "Oh, we're ready to record, but first I want to hear the lyrics that you've written." Right? Mm-hmm. And so Phil sang it. And Giorgio said, "That's great. That's the take. We got the song." And Phil said, "No, wait a second. That was just a demo. I was just trying it out." And Giorgio said, "Well, the first take is always the best take, Phil." And Phil said, "No, we have to do it again." And Giorgio said, "Okay, one more time." And so then he re-recorded the vocals for a second time. And Phil thought the second time was better. But when he went back and heard the finished product, Giorgio used the first vocals on it. So
it's pretty amazing. Basically,
you're just hearing one take of the song. Giorgio actually works very quickly. He's a very optimistic guy. He's very industrious producer. In the 80s, he was churning out stuff constantly. And because the song Together Like Your Dreams was a fairly big hit in England, they decided to do an album together. And so once again, Phil Oakey went down to the studio. Giorgio had the music, Phil wrote some lyrics, and within a week they had a whole album. It does sound like it was kind of thrown together very quickly. The music sounds very generic. There are not really that many memorable melodies in it, although I think the song Goodbye Bad Times and then the other single Be My Lover Now, they're pretty decent, catchy tunes. And so Giorgio, if we ever do a Donna Summer show, I can talk more about the collaboration that he did. When I Feel Love came out with Donna Summer, Giorgio made it sound as synthesized as possible. It was a concept album where Donna was doing songs from different eras, one from each decade, and the final song was going to be the song from the future. And so he made I Feel Love sound like a song that he thought was going to be a futuristic sci-fi type sound. When it was so revolutionary, Brian Eno came to visit David Bowie and said, "David, this is the sound of the future." So that's when Bowie went and did his Berlin trilogy with Eno. A lot of people talk about how Kraftwerk was one of the most influential... Oh, you got happy all of a sudden,
You mentioned Kraftwerk.
Yes. Was one of the most influential synth bands. I think Giorgio, at least on the pop side and the dance side, I mean, he's probably one of the most influential musicians of all time, or producers of all time. I mean, we're talking about Beatles, Elvis level stuff, where every dance song, pretty much, that's come out after I Feel Love, you can trace its lineage to I Feel Love. The director to Midnight Express said, "Hey, I love this futuristic sound. I want to have this sound in my movie." That's how Giorgio got the gig for that. And then he did the soundtrack to Cat People, which featured the song Putting Out the Fire with David Bowie. And then also he did American Gigolo, which featured the song Call Me by Blondie. Actually, lyrics to that song, because it was about a male prostitute. Yeah, it was Machine Man. So she's like, the chorus was going to go, Machine Man. And David here is like, that doesn't make much sense, you know, so she changed it to Call Me, you know, because he's a call guy.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, there, you know, of course there was, Scarface, which not only is there the great, kind of the rocky, motivational montage song of Push It to the Limit, sung by Pacman. Giorgio also did the theme song to Scarface, so the instrumental, which listening to it, I remember thinking like, this sounds really familiar. And it wasn't until like later I heard that he was influenced by the Klas Nomi song, the Cold Song.
Oh,
so yeah,
interesting.
Yeah. Then, you know, he did the soundtracks to some other great 80s classics like DC Cab and The Never-Ending Story.
Wow. Yeah, this guy's been all over.
Right, I know. And Never-Ending Story, you know, the Never-Ending Story theme song, you're familiar with that?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Sung by Lamal, formerly of Kajagoogoo. Right, well, he was up all night drinking and smoking before he was...
Cigarettes, I'm sure.
Whatever, he was smoking something before he went into the studio, and his voice, he just couldn't hit the higher notes in the chorus. And Giorgio was like, oh, that's okay, it's okay, we'll take care of it. And so then he got a female singer, some lady from the studio or something, to sing the chorus of On the Never-Ending Story. So that's why there's two different vocals in that song. And then also, he didn't have time, because he was so busy doing all these other soundtracks, to do the Beverly Hills Cop soundtrack. But he suggested, hey, my longtime keyboardist, Harold Faltermeyer, he can do the music for that. So that's, you know, where Axel F, the iconic tune came from. Giorgio redid the music to the movie Metropolis. He brought Metropolis. It was kind of like a lost sci-fi film. He did music for Meet Me Halfway from Over the Top soundtrack. He also Top Gun, Highway to the Danger Zone, Take My Breath Away from Berlin.
Okay, we get it. The guy was awesome.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Wait.
Oh, there's more.
What's the best of it? Probably like the highest point, the apex of his career was when he did the song Body Next to Body with Falco and Bridget Nielsen. That iconic tune.
That's worth mentioning.
Yeah, I mean, that was like German to the max. Well, and after that, I don't know if he burned out or if it was just he was no longer interested in the technology anymore.
He didn't need to do anything else. He was loaded. He was done for life. Just load the dough into the UFO and go back to your home planet.
Right. So he went away for many years.
Yes.
He was playing golf on Neptune or something.
Maybe.
And he gets a call from Daft Punk, who are fans, and they want to do a
Wait,
song.
are you going to go into all this crappy stuff that he's done recently? Is that what you're about to talk about? This is not worth mentioning.
No. So because of Daft Punk, the Random Access Memories was a surprise hit, which still blows my mind. That would have been a popular album compared to all the other crap on the radio, because that was actually a decent album. Because Daft Punk became popular a few years back, and that song Georgia was on that album. Then Moroder did that first album like 30 years or something. Remember, you know that great Kylie Minogue song Right Here, Right Now?
No, I don't remember a great Kylie Minogue song.
Oh, it was, I really like
Staring in your eyes, I see the sunrise. There's nowhere else but right here, right now.
Not a fan, I guess you can tell.
Yeah, but how about the other songs? Did you like Deja Vu? No? Okay.
The stuff that you played for me is recent stuff. There was not one song that I heard that I thought was good. The singer's auto-tune suckiness. I don't know. That's the best way to describe it.
Okay. Yeah. They didn't sound auto-tune. I just think they were just kind of the modern singer sound. Yeah.
I don't really think there are many good singers out these days. I mean, there may be some that if you dig deep enough, you could find them.
I just think there are not that many iconic singers who, like, they have distinct voices that actually sing with the melody instead of kind of singing around the melody, I think.
I feel like we need to speak a little bit about the Human League too, because I feel like that we need to tie them into this somehow.
This is a song for all you bigheads out there who think disco music is lower than the irrelevant musical gibberish and tired platitudes that you try to impress your parents with.
Anyway, go ahead.
We're the Human League. We're much cleverer than you.
Okay, so this is why I was prepared for this. Here, remember how on that great Susie and the Banshee show, this was from back in May or something, and I counted down the best, which is, in other words, my favorite Susie and the Banshee albums?
Yes.
We're going to do that again, but this time instead of doing the top 10, we're just going to do the top 5, all right?
Okay.
So there. That's the see the number 5,
but that's
4, 3, 2.
Okay.
And then here, and I want to mention my favorite song off.
So what do you want me to do?
Well, first I want to talk. Ask me which is the worst.
Which is the worst?
What?
You're basically handing me a paper and telling me to read.
Yes, I want you to contribute somehow to this.
Which is the worst?
Absolutely.
Hey, contribute somehow. My presence is important.
I mean, what do you think about the song "Human"?
Okay, out of any song that I've heard, that is the song that makes me feel like I'm 4 years old again. I hear that song, I literally feel like I want cookies in my jammies. Really. I mean, it takes me back.
Yeah, from 1986.
I was 4. See? I was right. Nail on the head there, man.
Right. So, okay, The Human's a great song, right?
It is. It's a fantastic song.
That album Crash was produced by Terry and J.M. Lewis. I can't remember their names. Same guys who did the Janet Jackson's Control.
Okay,
And,
that was great.
They pretty much wrote most of the songs. They did most of the music. Human League, they were just kind of in there to do the vocals. We were talking most recently about what we thought some of the worst songs of the decades were, and I forgot. I just forgot about the album Crash. Crash is probably one of the worst albums of the 80s, especially, I'd say, Swing. Crash is trash.
1 to 5 or 5 down to 1? Okay, so number 5. Romantic.
I think Romantic is underrated. It came out in 1990. Heart Like a Wheel is probably one of the best Human League songs. It's flat out should have been like a huge hit. It sounds like a hit song. The rest of the album has varying styles to it. They had different producers that worked on different tracks. The songs have different palettes to them.
It's just part of the adventure.
How about Soundtrack to the Generation? You know, remember that song? That's awful.
Yeah. There's not much to say about it except for holy cow! People actually listen to that song?
Yes, that was the second.
Cow!
That was the second.
Oh my god, I sounded just like her.
Yes, you did. That was an incredibly cheesy song. It was the second single off the album. After that, they were dropped from the label and everything. I wonder why.
That was terrible, by the way.
No, I like that. I like that song too. It's cheesy, but hey, cheese is not always a bad thing. Okay.
Cheese is pretty good. Candy's good too.
Yeah.
Okay, so number 4.
Speaking of which, what is your choice?
Travelogue, yes. Second Human League album. That was back when Human League was Marsh and Ware, who later left Phil and started Heaven 17. Travelogue, along with Reproduction, are two of the iconic early synthesizer albums. Of the two, I think Travelogue, maybe the songs are a little less unique. The Touchables, probably the warmer, catchiest tune on the album.
Now I'm not young and you're not old. I'd rather purchase than be sold. Grace friends so bold.
So number 3 is
Reproduction.
Yeah, number 3 is
obviously.
Reproduction, which came out in '79. I mean, I love the album cover where it has women stomping on babies.
Well, who wouldn't?
I know.
Really,
It's just, yeah. But no, it does have a lot of dark things, like the song Morale.
And if I don't go,
I'll always be stuck here in this poor little room with a view of the corner.
I think about a lot. I think about, like, you know, what if I was in a nursing home dying and, like, all I do for my final days is just to stare at the curtains and they're in the corner of the rooms. But that's not my favorite. I think Empire State Human.
With concentration, my size increased.
It almost has like kind of a sing-songy nursery rhyme chorus to it. Really interesting sci-fi themes on most of the first two albums. They don't really sing about love much. They sing about, because, you know, they're sci-fi geeks. You know, they're kind of Sheffield nerds. They were into early music technology. They hung out with the university art students. Why were there so many early synthesizer groups that came out of Sheffield? It was an industrial town. The fathers, a lot of them were in unions, and some of them were in the Communist Party, and their children were kind of more the counterculture bohemian. We don't want to work, we want to go to school and be art student clique. Well, like ABC, which started off as Vice Versa, also came out of Sheffield. The Human League originally was known as The Future, so they both changed their names and both try to push it more in a commercial direction.
Number 2, Octopus.
Octopus, I think, is probably one of my favorite albums of the 90s. Not only me, but Morrissey also said he thinks it was the best album of the 90s. So there, take that endorsement. So Octopus, one of the best sounding synth pop dance albums ever. Take the song Filling Up With Heaven, which is my favorite off of that. Just listen to that. The synthesizer on that, it has a long solo. Their keyboardist at the time, Neil Sutton, great job. When Tell Me When, I saw it on MTV and I flipped out. I was like, oh my god, the Human League are back, everybody! The Human League are back! It really made my day. Had to go out and buy the album. And so yeah, Octopus was it was a pleasant surprise from '95.
Good. Number 1. Dare.
Yeah, that's probably not a surprise to 80s fans. Dare is probably one of the most iconic synth pop albums ever. It was huge in England, dominated the charts, and then the song, what song did I say I liked the best?
Do or Die.
Do or Die. I just use that as an example. And actually, you know, I forgot about that quote from that book. Let me go get that.
Okay.
I'm wrapping this up here, I swear.
Okay.
Thanks for being patient.
Yeah, that's my name. Patient.
I forgot the book again. This kind of sums up one of the things I like about Dare. This was taken from the book Rip It Up and Start Again, written by Simon Reynolds. I read some from it back when we did the Harry Newman episode. What happened? I lost it.
These Buckeyes are really yummy. I should have made more.
Okay, here we go. It was produced by Martin Rushnett, and this is what he said. I learned a lot from working with arranger Johnny Harris. He was the band leader for all the big show singers like Petula Clark and Tom Jones. That's the English Northern Soul, as they call it, type sound. I think Petula Clark, I think she did Downtown, right? Well, anyway. Through watching him work, I learned about voice and instruments and how the most important element in music is silence. Don't clutter your arrangements. Keep every instrument part simple and vocal, as if someone was singing it. If you listen to Dare, there's lots of space in the songs, and there are loads of little parts, and you can sing them all. There are so many bloody little sing-along bits, and everyone sticks in your head. Because back then, you had to have a lot of money to have polyphonic synths, which is where you can play more than one note at a time and hold them as chords. So that's why like a lot of the startup post-punk synth pop bands like Depeche Mode, they would have like 4 keyboardists playing at the same time, because they each could only play one note at a time. So with Dare, you can think of it as kind of minimalist and clear and clean, but there are multiple little melodies, and they all kind of fit together intricately. And so that's why I think Dare is just a very catchy album. It's just a shame that the Human League, they took so many years off between albums, and I think a lot of it is that Phil Oakey, he was more interested in style than music or fashion.
What's the story behind their name? Like, why the Human League? Why not like the Robot League or the Alien League or the Donut League? Like, why the Human League?
It was from, I think, a role-playing game or something. Or a board game, an outer space board game or something like that. Where
That's interesting.
You could pick different factions, and there was one of them was called the Human League. But in a way, the Human League, they did become less Newman, like Gary Newman, and more human, which this famous story goes, he just picked up the two girls out of a dance club just because I don't know, something about their energy or something, even though they weren't really great dancers, they couldn't really sing that well. He liked the vibe that they had, and he needed some backup singers ASAP.
But even though they couldn't sing or anything, he just randomly goes up to them and says, "Hey,
yes,
you look good, so I want you to stand next to me."
Right, and they were cute. They had this kind of a fun, girly, girl next door vibe. What kind of?
I don't agree with the girl next door vibe, but I do think they look like they were a lot of fun.
Right. Well, it's just kind of like they look like fans. Yeah, girls who would be fans of the group.
Because they're human.
And so when they performed "Sound of the Crowd," which is a really strange pop song, on top of the pops, they were up there dancing and looking like, they're having a great time. And it's like, I think the fans could kind of picture themselves being the girls up there on stage, singing about "Get Around Town," where the people look good and the music is loud. Yeah. Any other questions? Because I know you were just really curious about the Human League.
Nope.
Why don't we wrap up with playing the song "Cocktail Bar"?
Maybe we can have a cocktail.
Well, it's going to put you to sleep.
No, it can pump me up for the
video game segment.
Video game portion of the podcast.
Let's have a drink.
You were working as a waitress in a cocktail bar. Cocktail bar. You were working as a waitress in a cocktail bar. Working in a cocktail bar. You were working as a waitress in a cocktail bar. You were working as a waitress in a cocktail bar. Cocktail bar. Cocktail bar. Cocktail bar. Working as a waitress in a cocktail bar. Working as a waitress.
If you grew up pumping quarter after quarter into arcade games, check out our podcast, No Quarter. On the No Quarter podcast, Mike McGinnis and I, Rob O'Hara, play one classic arcade game each week using MAME, where no quarters are required. If you grew up with Pacman fever and it's still driving you crazy, check out No Quarter at noquarterpodcast.com or on throwbacknetwork.net, your home for quality retro podcasts.
Okay, pop music, let's go. Anyone here like the Human League? Okay.
Right, the music's too loud. The neighbours have been complaining. You just watch your steps, sonny.
You'll never finish by morning.
No problem.
Now, command the powers of Adam with professional keyboard, high-speed memory drive, and built-in word processor program, all in one package.
Oops, you gotta start over.
Relax. Adam, move that paragraph.
Is that legal?
And print.
Adam, even a letter-quality daisy wheel printer.
You did it!
Adam, my launch sequence.
Is that legal?
Command the powers of Adam and program your future.
That elf is creepy. Did you see that? He's in the tree.
Oh, yeah. Someone's Holden scared of that?
Yeah, he thinks he's looking at him, and I totally get what he means now. I have buckets and buckets of perler beads waiting, and I'm excited, and I want to make one of every single person, or I don't know, every single character that was submitted.
Every single one?
I want to, but no, I can't.
Okay, well, we'll at least choose one random person
at the end
who submitted your favorite video game tune of the 80s. Before that, I also want to say there's still time because we got so many submissions. We're going to do half of them in our next episode, which the one for song number 51, which will hopefully be released at the end of December, sometime before New Year's. So check that one out if you like this video game segment, because there's more to come in the next.
So we're gonna do 2 segments. So we're not gonna actually pick someone until this.
No. We'll pick someone now because they need their Christmas order.
That's what I was gonna say. So we're gonna do one for each show, right?
You want to do that?
Yeah,
we could do that.
Okay. Yeah, because if we're gonna, it's not fair. I mean, to the other people to have to wait. It may not be a Christmas ornament.
Yeah.
But you can hang it on in your car, or just
like an air freshener, right?
Yeah. I mean, cuddle up with it on your pillow at night.
Earring.
Yeah, there's so many different options. So necklace. We'll pick one from this show, and then the next half we'll pick another one.
But there's still time if you want to get in for the next show. Send your favorite video game tune that was for a game that was released in the 1980s to the email address is 80ofthE80s@gmail.com. That's 80OFTHE80s@gmail.com. Thank you for our submissions. And then another thing you could do to help us out, to support and promote the show, spread the gospel of awesome 80s music, please leave a review on iTunes.
We need that because we get a lot of downloads, so we know people are listening, but we don't get enough comments and feedback.
Yeah, I mean, we're up to like 5,000 downloads a month, which is great. We keep going up and up into the stratosphere, so yeah. Yeah, okay, so let's get started. The tune that you just heard was for Pictionary. That was a pretty jamming tune, huh?
Yeah.
Really, yeah.
Big Pictionary fan, man.
Well, see, yeah, I mean, I think the board game's kind of lame, but I heard that the video game's even lamer because you're like drawing with a little control pad. But that tune, I think somebody just gave a keyboard wizard free reins and say, make the title screen whatever you want it. You just jam to the max. Okay. So that's a good honorable mention there. But our first entry we got, this was from Adam. And he said, I guess I vote for title theme to Kid Icarus. Back in the day we used to call it Kid Icarus.
It's Kid Icarus.
Yeah, from Greek mythology. He said, not the best game, but a great piece of music.
I'm trying to place how I feel about that song because I guess it's okay. I wouldn't have picked it as a favorite personally. I don't know how you feel.
It's like an Irish jig.
I mean, it's yeah.
Want to do some river dancing?
Can we play it so I can hear it? Okay, yeah. I just needed a little bit of a refresher.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good song. It's good.
Okay.
I like Ireland.
And Greek mythology.
Yes.
Next up, we have from Carson. He said, okay, best 80s video game music, I have to suggest the theme from The Legend of Zelda.
I love you, Carson, because I agree.
No list is complete without it. I'll take that Link ornament now. Ha ha ha. Sorry, Carson, there's no guarantee you're going to win. But,
Link is fun to make, though. I've made Link before.
Yeah, she made Link for me.
You know, I agree, and I want to say The Legend of Zelda, when you're in the dungeons, is brilliant. That music is just fantastic.
I think he's referring to
I know he's referring to the opening, but for me personally, I think when you're in the dungeons, or what are they called? I guess the dungeons, right?
The underground labyrinths.
The bosses, you know what I mean. I think that's the greatest music from Legend of Zelda, personally.
Yeah, it's kind of spooky, mysterious.
Exactly.
Because when you first go underground, you see the statues, those creepy head statues, and you're like, whoa, what's going on here? Next up, we heard from Dan. He said, I was an Atari kid, and those machines had so little in the way of music in the games. There are 2 Atari 5200 games that stand out in my memory for their music. One is Pitfall 2: Last Caverns, and the other is Mountain King. Now that the music was great, simply that they had music. But as I think about it now, Mountain King did not use the music to good effect, only playing the theme when you neared the end of the level and time was running out. But the song is Prelude to Madness, written by Edvard Grieg over 100 years earlier. Hardly qualifies for an 80s song. This song was also known as In the Hall of the Mountain King. I think that the title changed when Grieg adopted some of his earlier works for use in the play Peer Giant. Or is it Peer Giant? Oh well. I know a lot about 80s music, not like the 1880s. He said, then again, I think Sabotage did a cover of the song in the 80s. Yep, I know that one. So maybe that sort of counts after all. You know the Sabotage, Hall of the Mountain King?
Yeah.
Video to it with a midget. Next up we have Tim. Tim said, I don't remember that many game tunes from the 80s. However, I do have the full-size Miss Pacman and Donkey Kong in my house, so I still hear the tunes from those games often. The iconic Miss Pacman music always brings my kids running into the loft to play, so that would be my pick. Cool, it sounds like he has his own arcade.
Okay, full-size Donkey Kong. I want to know where you live, and I'm coming over, and we are gonna have a Donkey Kong party.
Yeah, well,
that would be awesome.
Why do you live in Antarctica or something?
Well, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, at least it's not as smoky as it is here.
Oh my gosh, I know.
We got to keep moving because we got a lot of stuff to go through here. Derps and Rags, which is, I don't think that's his real name, but he suggested Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest Bloody Tears.
Love Simon's Quest. Actually, I was just playing that tonight.
Yeah?
I was.
What a great night for...
What a horrible night to have a curse.
Okay, I gotta get it right.
Say it
I gotta get it right. Okay.
And then the morning sun has vanquished the horrible night.
Over and over again.
I think I'm saying that right. Oh, yeah. I love that game.
Time flies in that game. And we got another Castlevania theme. This one's from Nelson Belmont. Oh, gee, could be some sort of relation there.
Maybe.
And he submitted Wicked Child, which I think is from the first Castlevania game. We're playing in the background right now.
Now, Castlevania, the one where they're at the clock tower, the music for the clock tower is really great too.
Yeah.
And you're scared because you're jumping on the pendulum and you keep thinking, I'm going to die. Any second I'm going to die now. And I'm sorry, this podcast is about music, not the game. Go ahead.
No, talk about the game.
Well, I'm just saying that I remember just, I think that's where my anxiety came from. that right there alone is why I have anxiety issues. The stupid pendulum. I kept thinking I'm going to fall, I'm going to die.
You have anxiety issues?
I do.
Oh, okay.
You didn't know that?
No, I didn't.
How long have we been together? 11 years?
When we go into therapy for your anxiety issues, we can talk about Castlevania.
Well, I'm just saying, I really think video game. If you haven't noticed it, I guess it's not that bad.
Yeah, I guess not. I thought you were. I thought you were totally chill.
No, I am pretty chill actually.
Yeah, but yeah, those Medusa heads, yeah, that would give me.
Oh my god, the Medusas!
Yeah.
But if you have the boomerang, you're set. You're set. If you have, just don't lose the boomerang. If you're playing it, if you've never played it before, and you get the boomerang, don't lose the boomerang.
Don't try for some stupid holy water.
Make sure you're checking what you're like the candlesticks that you're hitting with your whip. Make sure you check it before you stand underneath it, because if the sword falls on you, you're screwed. Anyway.
Okay, next.
See, anxiety's coming out now. It's Castlevania. Damn you, Simon Belmont. Let's go.
Yeah, horrible games. Okay, some of these are from a message board that I asked for some suggestions, and that's why Dangerous 9. I don't think that was his birth name. Dangerous 9, he said the Game Over theme from Batman on NES.
I am not familiar with this one. I would like to hear it.
A lot of time people refer to the Batman for NES game as one of the few good movie ports. Basically, if it's a game based on a movie, it's almost always going to suck, except if it's Batman.
Well, can we listen to it? I'd like to hear it. I've never heard it before.
Let's listen to it. It's kind of sad, somber.
That song makes me think any minute Penguin is just gonna jump out and get you.
The Joker?
Or the Joker.
Yeah, it was based on the first Batman game.
Oh, okay. Can I say that again then?
No.
You're gonna make me keep that in there? You edit your shit out all the time?
Okay, it's quite the dirge.
What?
Dirge. It's like a.
Why do you use big words?
It's not a big word. It's just one syllable. Dirge. Okay.
Stupid Joker's gonna come and get me.
Yes.
Don't ever play that song again.
Next up, we got... Okay, this is from Richie, and Richie wrote a pretty long thing.
All right, Richie.
He mentioned a lot. I only have time to play songs from one of his. He did suggest the Pictionary tune. He told me about that one, and yes, that was awesome. He also mentioned Bloody Tears from Castlevania 2. His honorable mention is for Double Dragon 2 arcade soundtrack. He likes the Wheatfield Forest of Death stage for that one. He mentioned Solstice, Silver Surfer. There is also a game called Shovel Knight, which is actually a Mega Man inspired game that is a recent game, and he said that one has great music. And I watched a video of that. It does look like a fun game. I haven't been to video games lately, but I want to play it. So
well, good, because we're going to go to that Looney Bin store, and we're going to buy every single system and every game possible.
Can you buy me time? Where's the time going to come? How am I going to have time to... I don't even have time to do this show, so... What?
Well, you waste a lot of time.
I do. Okay.
I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to be mean, but you do waste a lot of time.
I know. I'm just not disciplined enough to spend more time playing video games.
Do you want me to get a whip?
Yes, then I'll start playing more games if you insist. Okay.
All right.
But he says...
Simon Belmont.
He said his top choice, he'd have to go with the African Mines theme from DuckTales for the NES. He said that was back when Capcom was at the height of their gamecraft, and almost every single game they put out had fantastic gameplay and music. You could probably do a whole podcast on Mega Man music alone, which I agree. All his Capcom games are some of my most favorite ones. And then we also have one for DuckTales. This one is from Jeff Yang. He mentions the DuckTales Moon theme, which I think was probably one of my favorite.
Yeah.
That one really stood out. How it's all beepy and blippy, and then it starts building up and jamming up.
Beepy and blippy, then jamming.
Yeah, and then I remember in that game when I grabbed the key for the UFO key, and when I grabbed it, like right when I hit it, the silly music started going. Like I felt like, you know, I accomplished something. Like it was like Superman pulling off his shirt or something. You know? You'd had to be there. Next up, we got Queeg. This is also from the 80s music Reddit. Could list quite a few C64, which is Commodore 64, and Amiga games. However, the music for the arcade classic 720, which is the skateboarding arcade game, and Outrun are my picks. Outrun is probably one of the best loved and remembered soundtrack. It's smooth. You know, most game themes are really intense. Outrun just makes you want to kind of lay back and chill and relax and have a nice drive on the convertible with your girlfriend on the beach. Next up, we got LaGrange. He suggested Mega Man 2, Dr. Wily Stage 1. Yes. That was probably the song that, when I was a kid, inspired me to record video game music. Which I record off of the TV. I held my little jam box. I had a little microphone in the front, up to the speaker. We had just, you know, it was like a monophonic speaker on the old TV. I've always loved synth sounding music and digital blippy music and stuff. So that's probably where it came from. My love for Mega Man 2, which I'm better than you.
That is the one game that you are better at. But in all fairness to myself, I haven't played it a lot. If I sat down and really played it, I would kick your ass, which is why I don't play it often, because there needs to be something that you're better at than I am.
That and tennis.
Who gives a crap about tennis?
I'm trying to think what else am I better than you in?
You make really good grilled cheese sandwiches.
Yes. So there
you have Mega Man and grilled cheese. I think that's pretty great.
Yeah, I'm not as good as making candy as you are.
I'm pretty good at candy.
Okay, I had to get that in there. All right, next up, we got two people said that their favorite song was one was Quiet Mop and then Shakin' Jeans.
I like that.
Oh, sorry, not quite, but Queef Mop.
Queef Mop! Oh my god, that's brilliant! Wow.
Yeah, they both said that their favorite was Ninja Gaiden Act 4 Stage 2, otherwise known as Unbreakable Determination. So that must be that's a standout. Again, high energy song that gets your nerves up and juiced. Is it Gaiden or Gaiden?
I always thought it was Gaiden. I don't know.
I thought the NES game was too hard. I loved the Gaiden arcade game though. That was more like a Double Dragon beat 'em up type, other than a like a reflex button masher. Next up, we had not only Richie, but we had three people. Cliff Aria, Radio Slayer, and Trias all mentioned the theme song to Solstice.
Solstice.
Which actually came out in June 1990, so that does not count.
Technically it's a 90s
it's X'd out.
song.
We hate the 90s, folks. No, just kidding. But, I mean, listening to it, I have to include it.
Well, it was probably written in the 80s, right?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. It was created in the 80s.
I mean, because it's so intricate that it probably took like a year just to create just the theme song to Solstice.
We have to include it. So many people mentioned it.
Well, it starts out again. This is kind of like the Irish jig kind of thing.
Yeah.
But then it breaks into like heavy metal guitar solo, and oh yeah, it is pretty rad.
You have chills right now, don't you? I can tell.
Yeah, under my long sleeve shirt, yes. So. Next up, we got When Ducks Attack. That's not the game. That's the name of the person who gave in. He said, here's an arcade game, Gyruss. He said, nothing better than strolling to an arcade and hear a toccata and fugue. Again, I'm not too keen on music from 1780s, but that is a classical music piece. And that's one thing I do remember this being this arcade game. They always had this game turned up to the max. And it did have some of the best, at the time, video game music for this outer space shoot 'em up. Wow.
We have a lot. Let's keep going, though. This is great.
Okay. Next up, Night of Knee.
Man, I'm liking the names of the people more than the games.
Right.
This is great.
But fittingly, he picked a medieval themed Wizards and Warriors.
Oh.
He picked the main theme, but we also had somebody who suggested Iron Sword Wizards and Warriors 2 Game Over and Shop. That was Gandhi.
That's the Isn't that it?
Suggested that one.
I think I remember that one.
Yeah,
is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Wizards and Warriors was great. Iron Sword, I would have to say when you're in the clouds. Isn't that how? I can't remember. You'll have to play it.
When you're hopping around the clouds.
Yes, the clouds. That's another anxiety-ridden stage. You just jump just slight edge of the cloud and you just fall all the way down to the bottom. It was so frustrating.
You have to suspend your belief in reality for a little bit when you're playing a game. Think about Super Mario Brothers. I mean, stomping on mushrooms, throwing fireballs, all that stuff.
No, I mean that could totally happen. But go ahead.
Right, that's more realistic than Iron Sword. in Wizards and Warriors where you're wearing a freaking suit of armor and you're jumping like 10 feet into the air in a suit of armor. Constantly.
I don't know. I think that could happen. I mean, you know, in Mario, there are like coins just randomly floating in the air and stuff like that. I mean, how is that possible?
I don't know.
I mean, you can't really like catch a leaf and turn into a raccoon. Although that would be really cool if you could.
Yeah.
There've been a few times in my life that I actually wished I had a tail. So.
Yeah, me too.
And then I looked for a leaf and there was nothing there.
Well, let's not get into my mouse fetish here, but anyway. Animated mouse. It's not the real
even
mouse.
Worse.
Okay.
It's even worse.
All right.
Okay, but no, I agree.
No,
I agree. Wizards and Warriors and Iron Sword. Iron Sword to me has a lot of music in the game that is really good. So, yeah, definitely kudos.
Okay, I saved John for last. At least in this show, because he sent me a novel.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's an extensive anthology of, like, I don't know, 20 games or something.
Oh, wow.
I'll try to paraphrase it here. As I've gotten older, a few classic game tunes really stand out, because I'm limited to the 80s. I'll just do a few and stay away from Mega Man and Castlevania stuff that I know everyone will send in.
Damn straight.
He mentioned Shellknov Atomic Runner. These are all arcade games. Area 88. And then for the NES, he mentioned Ninja Gaiden Stage 4-2, familiar.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Double Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Maniac Mansion.
Okay.
Which there was one not only for the NES but also the Commodore version is good too. Ultima Exodus. Magic the Scheherazade. Rygar. And he asked, like, could you do a whole bit for the M32? A really cool system. I've never heard of the M32. Really expensive and awesome.
I haven't either.
But, of all of those, he said his favorite is Shadowgate. There's a Shadowgate theme, and it's like when you go up to the lightning tower and the lightning strikes. So that's the one he picks. Have you ever played Shadowgate?
I have not played Shadowgate.
Shadowgate.
Shadowgate? Is it great?
It's great. It is creepy as fuck, though.
Oh, I would love it then.
Yeah, it's weird because, you know, there are scarier games these days.
Yeah.
That kind of get your jump reflex going. But the whole atmosphere of eeriness, if you play Shadowgate, especially, like, if you're alone in your house with the lights out at, like, 2 in the morning, which I've done before. Not recently.
Oh, it's okay.
Playing Shadowgate, and then your torch runs out, the Grim Reaper appears. It just really sends a chill through you, and that's...
Okay, yeah.
The Shadowgate effect is something I've never been able to duplicate.
We have to play that now. You realize that, don't you?
He said he wants to do a podcast on video game music. Good for you. Yeah, go for it. Yeah, he's nostalgic. Okay.
Hey, I would love to do a video game podcast. I think that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Like in a whole just
80 of the 80s video games, huh?
Maybe.
Yes.
Maybe I can host that one.
Yes.
That would be awesome.
All right. So now it's my turn now. So I'm going to give mine.
You?
Yes.
Go right ahead.
It's really hard to pick, but I would go with as suggested by John, Magic the Scheherazade. I would pick the overworld theme during the present in that game. Magic the Scheherazade is a very underrated, I would say Zelda clone, but it also has RPG elements, time traveling, lots of characters, lots of enemies, very complex game. And so I think if anyone loves Zelda or Crystallis, check out Magic Scheherazade, and when you're exploring the overworld, the mysteriousness of it all, this song puts you in that mood.
Awesome. Is it my turn?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm upset because my all-time favorite video game song is actually from 1991. Can I still mention it? Is that okay?
I'll let you mention it.
Okay, I'm just going to mention it. It is Super Nintendo Castlevania, The Cave. I don't know what the actual name of the song is, but it's The Cave. Anyone who's played it knows what I'm talking about. Beautiful. And actually, I love it so much that when we were getting married, I wanted to walk down the aisle to this song. But yeah, we eloped, so whoops. Yeah. But anyway, I can't include that because it's from 91. So, and Simon was looking pretty good in that game too. But okay. I gotta say,
he just got tall and skinny in that one, and waving his whip around like a yo-yo. Yep.
Yeah. Good times. The Goonies. Goonies 2.
Yeah. For NES.
The music throughout the whole game is just fantastic. It is happy. Specifically stage 3. Can we play that?
Yes.
Well, okay, let's play that.
Right, yeah.
I played it in my head right now. I remember playing this as a kid, and just honestly, sometimes I would play the game just so I could hear the music. It's just fantastic. And you get to walk into rooms and find hammers and bust out walls, and you're killing things with a yo-yo. I mean, how great is that?
Mice with the yo-yo.
Snakes and mice, and you jump through waterfalls, and it's just brilliant.
It's a shame it wasn't based on the Goonies 2 movie.
Yeah, I mean, the music is just great.
Yeah, actually, they also in that game, they have digitized version of Cyndi Lauper's Good Enough song.
Cyndi Lauper.
What?
You can always call her Laupner.
Yeah.
That's okay. We all have our things.
I know. I should know better.
This is totally unfair. We have got to have a video game podcast where we can talk about all video game music and not just keep it in the 80s. I mean,
no, it's like... I want to cut it off because I kind of quit playing video games when I got in college.
Well, stop being so selfish.
I played some games like Prop Cycle and arcade.
The Minish Cap. Oh my god, I could go on and on.
Good. Yep.
We have to fuse Kinstones later.
Ooh, what do you mean by that? I'm going to make some blue figurines with some shells and okay.
That's not fusing Kinstones. That's just getting the statues.
Okay.
You find all these little blue shells everywhere, and then you can take them to this guy, and you can trade them in for statues. Because he collects the seashells. And so if you're out anyway, you get all these seashells, and you turn them into him, and he lets you take a statue, which is really weird because it comes out in like an egg. And you have to crack the egg open, and it has a statue in it. I mean, how weird is that?
Okay, well,
but
some crazy Zelda. Rant. You went on some crazy rant there that I'm going to have to edit out because it was just...
Sorry.
You got carried away.
See, I like video games. I mean, I love 80s music, don't get me wrong, but video games, that's my heart.
Yeah, let's move on. We got a lot of other entries and picks.
Oh, we do? Okay, let's keep going.
No, not tonight. Not tonight. Oh. We're going to save it for
I'm pumped, man. I've had coffee and candy. Let's go.
I don't know what the song number 51 is going to be. The board has to decide, and Dobotron 2000 has to compile it.
We all know he's...
But in the second half of that episode, which will hopefully be out late December, we will do more 80s video game songs.
Yes.
Appreciate everyone.
Hold on.
What?
Don't end this, man. We have to pick a winner.
Oh, you're right. We do.
Yes, I have my perler beads and my iron, and I'm ready to go. Let's pick someone. How do we do this? We're gonna roll it. How many entries did we have?
No, I've already picked a winner.
You did without me knowing.
I did a random number generator, and it just so happens that the person who won was on this first half of the list.
From the whole thing? Oh,
yes,
okay.
From the whole thing. So,
okay, so the people in the next half just got lucky because we're going to pick again.
Because we're going to pick again.
Okay, well, who won?
Wait, but I want to let you listeners know that you can still get in on the action. Send your video game song from the 80s. Send it to 80ofthe80s@gmail.com. That's 80. You know that. Okay. Whatever.
80 of the 80s, it is not that tough. Come on.
Use the
I'm dying. Who am I going to make?
Okay, I randomly selected number 8. The 8th person on the list was Dangerous 9, who submitted the Game Over theme from Batman on the NES.
Wow,
so you
that'll be fun. Okay,
a pixelated version of Batman. So congratulations!
I have not made a Batman yet. This is awesome.
And for every Christmas, you always remember us.
This is fate because I have a lot of black perler beads.
Right,
it's meant to be. But Link is my favorite to make, so whoever said they wanted Link, I may just throw him a bone there, because I love Link.
Okay.
He's fun to make.
Now, don't throw everyone a bone.
I can't throw bones to everyone. I do.
Let's get on to listener mail.
Listener mail. We have listener mail.
Listener mail. Listener mail. Listener mail.
Faint heart, when letter arrives, when letter arrives, when letter arrives.
First listener mail is from Adam. And
do you want me to read it just to mix it up a little bit?
You can, but let me explain. Both of these listener mails, they're both referring to episode number 53. The song for that show was Dio's Holy Diver.
Holy Diver.
And I played a clip of Dio attempting to explain the meaning behind the song.
Which really, honestly, still did not make sense to me. But that's okay.
What does Adam say about it?
I mean, he could say anything to me and I'd be okay with it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, not now. That'd freak me out. Adam says, that Dio song is for sure influenced by a Ray Bradbury short story. I think from The Illustrated Man.
That was interesting. You know, I am not really much of a Ray Bradbury fan. I know that Dio was really into science fiction and fantasy literature, so there's a good chance he lifted much of the theme from it. From the synopsis I read, though, the short story is entitled The Man. It did involve a guy who would go from planet to planet and perform the role of Jesus for different societies. So it's somewhat similar, although the whole diving into pools and people being selfish and jealous, I'm not sure if that was in the short story, as not like the way what Dio was supposedly singing about.
Yeah. Okay, Dan.
And also in episode 53, we had our listeners send in their favorite 80s Halloween song. This is what Dan says.
Dan says, listening to the latest podcast, and I couldn't believe that I didn't think of Dead Man's Party or Black Celebration on my own. The Depeche Mode track was especially cool. I remember picking up that album on cassette back when it first came out. In fact, I think it was probably the first album I purchased without knowing any of the songs beforehand. I had been a big fan of their previous album, Some Great Reward.
Yeah, you know, I didn't know any of the songs either when I purchased it, because they didn't really have, like, basically up until that point, their only song that got U.S. airplay was People Are People. Mm-hmm. And so, it was a very pleasant experience hearing that for the first time. So
awesome surprise.
Yes.
That's all right.
That's all.
How are we going to end this, man? How are we going to wrap it up?
Well,
I
want to talk about Kraftwerk.
Why?
Why? Yeah, why do you want to talk about Kraftwerk?
Why do you not want to talk about Kraftwerk?
Kraftwerk is more like it.
What's your problem with Kraftwerk, man?
Okay.
Let the truth come out here. Let's hear it.
No, I don't want to. What?
You can continue. I'm gonna go get some sheets and make your bed on the couch here. Okay. You go right ahead.
Mm-hmm. What, you really want this part about Kraftwerk to be on the podcast?
The things that I want to say, you don't include it. It's like it's your podcast.
Why do you want to talk about Kraftwerk?
Why not?
There's no sense in talking about Kraftwerk.
There's always sense in talking about Kraftwerk.
Okay, let's talk about Kraftwerk.
Well, you talked about Giorgio Moroder.
That's the number 52. Number 52 on the show. Actually, speaking of Morocco, isn't Casablanca the city in Morocco? Casablanca Records was the label that Giorgio Moroder, the Donna Summer song, were on. There you go.
It's like, what is it? Something with the Kevin Bacon thing? What is it?
Yes, you can do a Kevin,
The degrees of separation.
Well, it all comes back to Dottie and Pee Wee Herman, you know?
We hope you enjoyed the 80 of the 80s podcast, a proud member of the Throwback Network. To support our show, please leave review at iTunes. You can also download more episodes at TuneIn, Stitcher, or on our website, 80ofthE80s.com. And we also want to be your Facebook friend. Until the next song, this is AK-47 thanking you for your power play. Iron Sword, you know, brilliant. And then the guy that's in the shop at Iron Sword, I always thought he was naked. He's like completely nude. This big buff burly dude nude, but he's wearing a green apron.
I tell you what.
Take the apron off, buddy. Let's see what you got.
He wasn't as sexy as a shopkeeper in Facts and Attitude. The guy who made keys, and he has like a little stick hanging in his mouth, and he's like, when he's talking, yeah.
Okay.
Sexy.
Got it.
For a dude.
Yeah, I can get with that, for sure.
Facts and Attitude had great music, too.
I thought it was Faxanadu.
Oh.
I don't know. What's the proper... I mean, I may be wrong.
You say Icarus, I say Icarus. You say Faxanadu, I say...
No, I say Faxanadu. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Gaiden, let's call it all off.